One question and we'll move on topic.
Hi, all four of you have actually said that you'd like to stay as close to the European Union as possible. What do you say to the documents that have said that wildlife protections and our commitment to international climate policy are basically not going to be followed in the new European agreement that they're trying to make? Are you for or against trying to honour our commitment to international climate policy, and how will you ensure that our environment continues to be protected in the way that it was underneath European Union law?
I'm going to go to Max first.
100% these are really important points, and the European Union has of course raised standards of water quality. It's stopped us just chucking our rubbish into the ground. It protects lots of things about wildlife and ecology, and it's brought in a raft of legislation to protect a lot of the things that we hold most dear. And of course the best way to maintain all of those things is by remaining in the European Union. And sorry, what I was going to say was, whether you vote for Labour or Tory in this election, you're voting for different types of Brexit. So the only way you can actually get the opportunity to do that is by voting for the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you.
Right, on the environment, it's certainly true that the European Union has made massive strides in the right direction, and we as a party and as a government, if we were elected, will definitely replicate what's already been agreed through the European Union. I think we made that clear.
All of it.
I think the important thing to remember is a big achievement was actually the Paris Agreement, where a large number of nation states did agree a very tough target for carbon CO2 reduction. I think that so far most nation states are alluding to that.
Have you signed it yet?
It will be really important to be sure that President Trump does the same. But that, I think, is a really good step in the right direction. I don't doubt for a moment that the contribution the European Union made under Laurent Fabius, who was the French former foreign minister and I think prime minister, who actually helped sort that. And we have to salute the European Union for its role, but we've got to move on and recognise that our Paris Agreement really has to be adhered to by all of us.
Thank you. I'm going to throw it to David now.
The problem is with, and I wish they put into their manifesto, genuinely, we will campaign to re-enter the EU, because that's a clear decision. I mean, I'd say two things. It's a bit like a penalty shootout where you get the wrong result and you say, we'll keep on playing this until we get the right result. My worry is, and I did support a referendum, it was a once-in-a-lifetime decision. The trouble with referendums is, it's fine when you get the result you want, they're a disaster when you get the result you don't want. I actually think we need to remember we live in a parliamentary democracy, and parties ought to put forward what their position is, and if the Lib Dems feel so strongly, they should have put in their manifesto, we will re-enter Europe, and people know where they stand. The idea we have yet another referendum, I mean, God, we've had enough division in this country, recently with Scotland and with what's happened with the EU. We need to bring people back together. What I would say is, in terms of the question environmental and labour standards, let's put them together. I mean, we have got a genuinely good reputation. The 2008 Climate Change Act has led the world, and we are meeting our obligations, partly because we're decoaling at a much more rapid rate than we ever thought we would do, and we're not building gas-fired stations because renewables have begun to fill that vacuum. We can do it, but the problem is, what worries me is, where are all these trade deals that we're going to do with all these wonderful countries that want to line up with us? They'll only want to line up with us if we drop our standards.
Thank you. Sarah?
So the reason why we're meeting our emissions targets is not because we've reduced our energy consumption, it's because we've offshored it. So a lot of our manufacturing energy is being taken up by places like China. So although our emissions look okay, if you take the offshore emissions into account, they don't look particularly good. If you take shipping into account and aviation, they do not look particularly rosy. Well, some parties would like to expand aviation. The Greens aren't one of them. Well, I think everyone behind me would. There is a fundamental issue of our age, and it is climate change. Whether we are part of the European Union or not, we have to address it, and we are not doing it at the moment. And the Greens are the only party that recognise that our economy and our social policies have to be driven by the protection of our natural world. So whether we leave Europe or stay, we have to protect our natural world, because we won't have an economy if we don't.
Thanks.